Okay, here we are, still in chapter 2, which is over transformations. So let's keep in mind that vocabulary word, transformations. Okay, and the first transformation we learned about was the shift, right, left, up, and down, which was a translation. So right, left, up, down is a translation. And now 2.2 is a reflection. So kind of like looking in a mirror. Reflection, as it says, or flip, okay, is a transformation in which a figure is reflected in a line called the line of reflection. Okay, so most of our problems, the line of reflection is either going to be the y-axis or the x-axis. Okay, so if this here were the y-axis, we would be flipping it. So this point here would match up with this point here in a flip. Okay, so if we were to, I always say if you were to take a piece of paper and fold it, so that this vertical line was the crease in the paper here, a terrible line, but okay, then these points would match up, and these points would match up, and these points would match up, and so on. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. So keep in mind the word flip. Okay, so we're going to identify these as reflections or not reflections. I should have erased this, but I didn't, so we'll just work through it. So if I folded my piece of paper right along this line, would this match up with this? Yes. Would this match up with this? Yes, looks like it. How about this one and this one? Is the distance from here to here the same as the distance from here to here? I think that's fair, right? So is the distance from here to here the same as the distance from here to here? And I think, again, that these are the same size. The green and the yellow line are the same, so this one is. Okay, now this one here. If we folded this one in half right here, would this, let's pick a point, would this point, would the distance between this point here and this point, this looks like the outside match to that, be the same? No. This is a translation. We have simply moved it across this axis. Okay, do you see we've just slid it? So it didn't reflect, it slid. So this is not. All right, how about down here? So here's our piece of paper. We folded that in half. There's our vertex of the point of the top of this pentagon. So is the distance here and the distance here to this point the same? No. So okay, so now we're going to talk about reflections in the coordinate plane. So that's this thing. So basically the way this works is it's actually quite simple. When you reflect across the x-axis right here, then all you're doing is you're taking the points and making the y. So reflection across the x makes the y negative. Reflection across the y makes the x negative. So just keep that in mind as we go here. Let's go ahead and start with the y. So we're reflecting across this line right here. And we are going to, so we're just going to look at the point. So this one here is just negative 1, 1. So the reflection across y makes my x opposite. That's another way of saying opposite x. So that just this new point that mirrors this is just 1, 1. This one up here is negative 4, 4. So again, just that x becomes positive instead of negative, and it reflects over here to 4, 4. This one here is negative 3, 1. So again, the x value, negative 3, becomes positive 3, 1. Okay, now the same thing if we're going across this x axis. So we already have our points up here. So we have negative 1, 1. So now the y value is going to change. So this point here stays, the x stays this time, and the y changes to negative 1. Sorry, it's kind of tight here. And then the negative 3 reflects across. The negative 3 stays the same, and the y changes. And on this one, get my pen back. And on this one, again, the x stays the same. So we're reflecting this last top point. So the x stays the same, and the y changes. So that should be Pretty obvious. Okay, so let's do one from scratch here. So let's first plot the points that we have of this triangle. It is 1, 1, 1, 4, and 3, 4. Connect the dots, and we end up with this triangle here. Okay, so let's see. So we have 1, 1, 1, 4, and 3, 4. Okay, so we're just going to reflect across the X here. Just remember reflecting across the X, it goes negative Y. Oop. And reflecting across Y would just go, we would just change the X and keep the Y. So let's do that. So we're going to reflect across this X. So we're going to change our Y's. So this 1, 1 becomes 1, negative 1. This 1, 4 becomes 1, negative 4. This 3, 4 becomes 3, negative 4. So let's just go ahead and do that. So 1, negative 1, 1, negative 4, and 3, negative 4. And so there we go. So just remember that this was A, this was B, and this was C. This down here would be A prime, B prime, C prime. And this is called the image. Alright, I think this will be pretty easy for you guys, so I will stop now. If you have questions, let me know. Thank you.